Gohan flew faster than the speed of sound across the dying landscape of planet Namek. The air hid his face like a solid wall, but he did not blink. His eyes were locked on the small village in the distance. The sky above him was not the beautiful green color that he remembered from his childhood. It was a sickly yellow color, like old bruised skin. The three suns of Namek were usually bright and warm, but now they were black discs in the sky. They looked like holes in the universe. The water in the rivers below him was not blue and clean. It was thick and purple. It bubbled and popped with a smell that made Gohan want to be sick. It smelled like rotten eggs and burning plastic. In the distance, he saw the village of the Namekians. The houses were shaped like round snails. They were usually white and green. Now they were cracked and covered in black soot. In the center of the village, a group of Namekian elders were huddled together. They were holding terrified children in their arms. Above them, floating in the air, was the tyrant, Frieza. This was not the Frieza that Gohan remembered fighting when he was a kid. This Frieza was in his final smooth white form, but his skin was grey. His purple crystal spots were glowing with a dark red light. His eyes were completely red with no pupils. He looked like a demon. He had his finger pointed down at the village. A small ball of black energy was gathering at the tip of his finger. It crackled with purple lightning. Frieza laughed. The sound was high and cold. He said, "Goodbye, little bugs." He fired the beam. The black laser shot down toward the helpless Namekians. The elders closed their eyes and waited for the end. But the end did not come. Gohan arrived just in time. He did not deflect the beam because that might hit something else. He did not dodge it. He caught it. He appeared in front of the elders instantly. He raised his hand and caught the black laser in his palm. The energy sizzled and burned against his glove. It was heavy. It felt like holding a mountain. The corruption in the energy tried to crawl up Gohan's arm like a snake, but Gohan flared his aura. His silver beast aura exploded outward. The divine energy purified the black laser. Gohan squeezed his hand into a fist. The black energy shattered into harmless sparks of light. The Namekian elders opened their eyes. They looked up in shock. They saw a warrior with silver hair and red eyes standing in front of them. He wore a purple gi that looked like the clothes of their hero Piccolo. They did not know who this stranger was, but they felt his kindness. Gohan looked back at them over his shoulder. He smiled gently. He said, "Do not worry. You are safe now." Above them, Frieza stopped laughing. He tilted his head to the side. He looked at Gohan with his glowing red eyes. He did not recognize Gohan. In this timeline, Gohan was just a little kid hiding behind a rock somewhere. Frieza had never seen a grown-up Gohan. Frieza spoke. His voice was distorted. It sounded like two people speaking at once. One voice was Frieza's high voice. The other voice was deep and scratchy. It was the voice of the Void Agent. Frieza said, "Oh, a monkey. I thought I killed all the monkeys. You have a strange color. Are you a new breed? Does not matter. I will erase you too." Goku and Vegeta and Jiren landed next to Gohan. The ground shook when they landed. The purple mud splashed up around their boots. Goku looked around with a sad expression. He said, "This place looks terrible. I remember Namek being so pretty. The trees are all dead." Vegeta looked at Frieza. His eyes narrowed. He felt a deep anger rising in his chest. He remembered this day. This was the day he died. This was the day Frieza beat him until he cried and then shot him through the heart. Vegeta clenched his fists. He said, "Kakarot, look at Frieza. He is possessed. That energy is not his. It is the void." Jiren crossed his arms. He scanned the area with his senses. He said, "It is not just Frieza. The whole planet is infected. The core of the planet is being eaten by the void energy. If we do not stop this soon, the planet will explode and take the timeline with it. Frieza looked at the four warriors. He smirked. He snapped his fingers. Behind him, the large Frieza Force spaceship opened its doors. Thousands of soldiers flew out. But they were not normal soldiers. They were like zombies. Their armor was broken. Their skin was grey. Their eyes were empty holes. They did not scream or yell. They just flew forward in silence. And leading them were 5 familiar figures. The Ginyu Force, Recoome, Berta, Whis, Guldo, and Captain Ginyu. But they were twisted too. Recoome was huge. His muscles were swollen and pulsing with black veins. Berta had wings made of shadow. Whis' red skin was dark maroon. Guldo was floating inside a bubble of poison gas. Captain Ginyu had horns that were 3 times their normal size. Frieza pointed at the Z fighters. He said, "Kill them. Bring me their heads." The army of shadow soldiers rushed forward like a swarm of angry bees. Goku cracked his knuckles. He said, "All right, guys, let's clean this up. But remember, we can't kill Frieza yet. If we kill Frieza now, then the past version of me never turns Super Saiyan. We have to free him from the corruption first." Vegeta grunted. He said, "I know the plan, Kakarot. I will handle the trash." Vegeta flew straight at the Ginyu Force. He wanted to crush them. He remembered how they humiliated him in the past. Recoome had broken his armor and his body. Vegeta was stronger now, much stronger. Recoome saw Vegeta coming. The giant zombie roared. He opened his mouth and fired a eraser gun blast. But the blast was black instead of pink. Vegeta did not dodge. He flew right through the blast. The energy washed over his Super Saiyan blue aura and did nothing. Vegeta appeared in front of Recoome. Vegeta said, "You were tough once. Now you are just a bad memory." Vegeta punched Recoome in the stomach. His fist sank deep into the giant's gut. Recoome's eyes bulged out. The impact created a shockwave that blew away the purple clouds above them. Recoome folded in half. Vegeta spun around and kicked Recoome into the ground. The giant crashed into the mud and did not get up. Berta and Whis attacked from the sides. Berta was the fastest in the universe, or so he claimed. He moved like a blur. He tried to slash Vegeta with his shadow wings. Whis fired a crusher ball of red lightning. Vegeta did not even look at them. He raised one hand to the left and one hand to the right. He caught Berta by the throat. He caught Whis' energy ball and crushed it. Vegeta looked at Berta. He said, "You call that speed? My son trains in gravity 10 times stronger than this. You are standing still." Vegeta threw Berta into Whis. The 2 zombie warriors crashed into each other. Vegeta pointed his hand at them. He fired a big bang attack. The blue ball of energy engulfed them. It did not kill them because they were already dead shadows. It just vaporized the void magic holding them together. They turned into dust and blew away in the wind. Goku was fighting Captain Ginyu. Ginyu was tricky. He was using his body change technique. He kept shouting "change" and shooting a beam of light at Goku. Goku had to keep dodging. Goku said, "Hey, cut it out. That's a rude move." Ginyu laughed. His voice was hollow. He said, "Give me your body, Saiyan. Your power is delicious." Goku turned Super Saiyan God. His red hair glowed. He moved faster than Ginyu could see. He appeared behind Ginyu. He chopped Ginyu on the neck. Ginyu fell forward, but before he hit the ground, Ginyu's body exploded into black slime. The slime tried to wrap around Goku's leg. Goku jumped up. He fired a blast of fire from his hand. He burned the slime away. He said, "Yuck, these guys are gross." Jiren was handling the army of soldiers. He did not move his feet. He just stood there. Whenever a soldier came close, Jiren would glare at them. The pressure from his eyes was enough to crush them. A soldier would fly at him with a sword. Jiren would look at him. The soldier would freeze. Then an invisible force would hit the soldier and send him flying into the horizon. Jiren was like a wall. Nothing could pass him. Gohan was focused on Frieza. He flew up to meet the tyrant. Frieza was floating with his arms crossed. He looked bored. Frieza said, "You dealt with my pets. Very good. But they were just appetizers. I am the main course." Gohan looked at Frieza. He could sense the void agent hiding inside. The agent was like a parasite. It was wrapped around Frieza's brain. If Gohan hit Frieza too hard, he might kill Frieza's body. He had to be surgical. Gohan said, "Leave his body. You don't belong here." Frieza laughed. The voice shifted to the deep demon voice. It said, "I am Agent Rot. I'm the decay of all things. I've improved this vessel. Frieza had potential, but he was arrogant. I've given him the focus of the void. We are unstoppable." Frieza charged at Gohan. He was fast, much faster than the original Frieza. He punched Gohan in the face. Gohan blocked the punch with his forearm. The impact pushed Gohan back a few feet. Gohan felt the weight of the attack. It was heavy. Frieza did not stop. He attacked with a flurry of punches and kicks. He used his tail to try and strangle Gohan. Gohan blocked and parried. He was studying Frieza's movements. Gohan thought to himself, "He is strong. He is probably as strong as Super Saiyan Blue right now. But he is fighting wild. The corruption makes him angry. I can use that." Gohan flared his beast aura. He pushed Frieza back with a burst of energy. Frieza snarled. He raised his hand. A red disc of energy formed. It was the Death Saucer, but this one had jagged teeth like a saw blade made of shadows. Frieza threw the disc. It spun through the air, making a screaming sound. Gohan dodged to the right. The disc flew past him. It sliced through a mountain in the distance. The mountain slid off its base and fell into the ocean. But the disc came back. It was homing in on Gohan. Gohan waited until the last second. He jumped over the disc. The disc flew toward Frieza. Frieza had to duck to avoid cutting his own head off. Frieza growled. He said, "Stop jumping around, you monkey. Stand still and die." Gohan landed on a rock. He pointed at Frieza. He said, "You are not Frieza. Frieza fights with elegance. You fight like a beast. Come out and face me." Agent Rot screamed in anger inside Frieza's mind. The body of Frieza began to swell. His muscles grew larger. He was entering the 100% power form. But with the void energy, he looked like a monster. Spikes of bone grew out of his shoulders. His tail grew longer and covered in barbs. Frieza roared. He flew at Gohan again. This time he was faster. He slammed into Gohan and drove him into the ground. They crashed through the rock and went deep into the earth. They fought underground. The ground shook above them. Goku and Vegeta watched the fight. Goku said, "Gohan is holding back. He doesn't want to hurt Frieza too much." Vegeta said, "He has to be careful. If he kills Frieza, then Kakarot never becomes a Super Saiyan. And if you never become a Super Saiyan, then the androids kill us all. 'Tis a fragile chain of events." Suddenly, Jiren spoke up. He said, "Look there." He pointed to a large rock formation, about a mile away. Hiding behind the rocks were two small figures. One was a bald kid with dots on his forehead. The other was a small boy with a bowl-cut hairstyle. It was Krillin and the young Gohan. From the past, they were watching the battle with terrified eyes. They could not sense Kai yet, but they could see the explosions. They were shaking, and creeping up behind them was a shadow. It was Guldo. He had reformed from the gas. He was sneaking up on the kids. He had a sharp rock in his hand. He was going to kill them while the heroes were distracted. Goku gasped. He said, "Krillin." Goku tried to fly over there, but suddenly the ground erupted. A giant wall of black fire shot up in front of Goku. It blocked his path. From the fire stepped another figure. It was a Namekian, but he was huge. He had green skin that was rotting off. His eyes were white. He wore a white cape. It was Nail, the strongest warrior of Namek, but he was corrupted too. Agent Rot had revived him as a zombie guardian. Zombie Nail shouted, "Do not pass." Goku said, "Move out of the way. My best friend is in danger." Zombie Nail punched Goku. Goku blocked, but he was surprised by the strength. Nail had fused with Piccolo in the original timeline. This Nail was powered by the Void. Goku shouted, "Vegeta, get Krillin." Vegeta nodded. He flew around the wall of fire. He headed for the rocks. Guldo was just a few feet away from young Gohan and Krillin. He raised the sharp rock. He grinned a nasty grin. He whispered, "Die, little brats." Vegeta arrived. He did not shout. He did not fire a blast. He just appeared between Guldo and the kids. He grabbed Guldo's wrist. Guldo looked up. He saw Vegeta. But this was an older Vegeta, a stronger Vegeta. Guldo's eyes went wide. He said, Vegeta, but you're dead. Frieza killed you." Vegeta looked down at the pathetic creature. He said, "I got better." Vegeta squeezed Guldo's wrist. The bone crunched. Guldo screamed. Vegeta kicked Guldo into the sky. Then he pointed 2 fingers at him. He said, "Dirty fireworks." An explosion consumed Guldo. This time he was gone for good. Young Krillin and young Gohan looked at Vegeta. They were confused. They saw Vegeta, but he looked different. His armor was different. His hair was slightly different. And his energy felt not evil. Young Krillin stuttered. He said, Vegeta, is that you? Why did you save us?" Vegeta looked at them. He looked at the young version of his rival's son. He looked at the bald earthling. He remembered how much he hated them back then. But now they were his allies, his friends. Vegeta scoffed. He turned his back to them. He said, "Don't get used to it. Stay hidden. If you die, Kakarot will never shut up about it." Vegeta flew away to join the fight. Young Krillin looked at young Gohan. He whispered, "I think he hit his head or something. He's acting nice." Back at the main battle, Gohan had dragged Frieza back into the sky. Gohan was tired of this game. He needed to extract the agent. Gohan flew higher. He raised his energy. The clouds cleared away. He looked down at Frieza. Gohan said, "Playtime is over." Gohan cupped his hands. He started to charge a Kamehameha, but he mixed his destruction energy into it. It was a purple and blue wave. Frieza laughed. He started to charge his own attack. A massive ball of black and red energy. The Death Ball. It was huge. It was big enough to destroy the planet 10 times over. Frieza shouted, "I will blow this mud ball to dust, and you with it." Frieza threw the Death Ball. Gohan threw the Destruction Kamehameha. The 2 attacks clashed in midair. The sound was deafening. The sky cracked. Lightning struck the ocean. It was a beam struggle. Frieza pushed with all the might of the Void. He was screaming. Agent Rot was pouring every ounce of power into the attack. Gohan grit his teeth. He felt the pressure. He knew he could overpower Frieza easily, but if he just blasted through, he might vaporize Frieza. He had to be precise. He had to pierce the attack and hit the agent without killing the host. Gohan closed his eyes for a split second. He remembered Whis's training. Control, precision. Do not just be a hammer, be a scalpel. Gohan opened his eyes. They glowed silver. He shouted, "Ha!" He changed the shape of his beam. Instead of a wide wave, he concentrated it into a thin needle of light. The beam pierced right through the center of the death ball. It drilled through the black energy. The beam hit Frieza in the chest. Frieza screamed, but the beam did not burn his skin. It went inside him. It hunted for the foreign energy. Inside Frieza's mind, Agent Rot saw the purple light coming. He tried to hide. He tried to burrow deeper into Frieza's soul, but the light was too fast. It grabbed him. It wrapped around him like a net. Gohan pulled his hands back. He shouted, "Get out!" The beam yanked Agent Rot out of Frieza's body. A cloud of black smoke was ripped out of Frieza's chest. The smoke screamed. It tried to form a shape. It looked like a skeleton made of tar. Frieza's body went limp. His eyes turned back to normal white. He fell out of the sky. He was unconscious. The Agent Rot was now exposed. He was floating in the air without a host. He was weak. Goku had finished fighting Zombie Nail. He saw the agent. Goku shouted, "Jiren, now!" Jiren was waiting. He had been charging his energy this whole time. He glared at the agent. He raised his hand. A small red sphere of energy formed in his palm. It was incredibly dense. Jiren said, "It is over." He fired the sphere. It hit Agent Rot. The sphere expanded into a giant dome of red heat. It incinerated the void energy. Agent Rot wailed as he was burned out of existence. The corruption evaporated. As soon as the agent died, the changes to the planet began to reverse. The yellow sky turned back to green. The black suns turned back to white. The purple water slowly started to turn blue again. The zombie soldiers turned into dust and vanished. Frieza was falling toward the ground. Gohan flew down and caught him. He gently placed Frieza on a rock ledge. Frieza was sleeping. He would wake up soon with a bad headache and no memory of the void. He would resume his fight with the real Goku soon. Goku flew over to Gohan. He patted him on the back. He said, "Good job, son. That was some fancy shooting." Gohan wiped sweat from his forehead. He said, "Thanks, Dad. That was harder than I thought. I had to be really careful." Vegeta landed next to them. He looked at the unconscious Frieza. He had a strong urge to blast Frieza while he was sleeping. It would save them so much trouble. It would save Trunks from growing up without a father. Vegeta raised his hand. Energy gathered in his palm. He aimed at Frieza's head. Goku put his hand on Vegeta's arm. He shook his head. He said, "Vegeta, no. We can't. If you kill him now, I never turn Super Saiyan. Trunks never comes from the future to warn us. Cell wins. Boo wins. We have to let it happen." Vegeta's hand shook. He hated it. He hated leaving his enemy alive. But he knew Kakarot was right. He lowered his hand. He spat on the ground near Frieza. He said, "You are lucky today, Lizard. But one day, I will be the one to send you to hell." Jiren walked over. He looked at the sky. He said, "The timeline is stabilizing. The corruption is gone. We should leave before the past versions of you see us." Goku nodded. He looked toward the rocks where Krillin and young Gohan were hiding. He waved his hand. He whispered, "Take care of yourself, kid. You have a long road ahead of you." They gathered together. Chronoa opened the golden portal. They stepped through the light and left the Namek timeline behind. When they arrived back at the palace, they were exhausted. The mental stress of fixing time was heavy. Gohan sat down and drank some water. He felt like he had been fighting for days. The Grand Priest looked at the scrolls. He smiled. He said, "Excellent work. The Namek timeline is secure. The void has been pushed back." But then a siren sound echoed through the palace. It was a loud, magical alarm. The Grand Priest's smile vanished. He looked at the central crystal ball. Inside the ball, they saw an image of Earth. But it was a different Earth. It was a ruined Earth. The cities were destroyed. The sky was dark. There were two teenagers flying over the ruins, laughing and blasting buildings. Android 17 and Android 18. But something was wrong. There was a third android with them. He was tall and bulky. He had green skin and a red crest on his head. It was Android 16. But he was not the gentle giant who loved birds. His eyes were glowing red with void energy, and he was holding something in his hand. It was the head of future Gohan. Gohan stood up. He dropped his cup of water. It shattered on the floor. His eyes went wide with horror. That was his master. That was the Gohan who taught Trunks. That was the hero of the future. Chronoa screamed. She said, "Oh no, they have gone to the future timeline. They are helping the androids destroy the resistance. If future Gohan dies too early, then Trunks never travels back in time." The Grand Priest said this is critical. Trunks is the key to everything. If Trunks does not travel back then, the heart virus medicine never arrives. Goku dies. Everyone dies. Gohan clenched his fist so hard that blood dripped from his palms. He felt a rage burning inside him. A rage hotter than the sun. They dared to touch future Gohan. They dared to defile the memory of the bravest warrior who ever lived. Gohan looked at the Grand Priest. His voice was low and dangerous. He said, "Send me. Send me now." Goku looked at his son. He had never seen Gohan this angry before. It was the same anger he had when Cell crushed Android 16's head, but this time it was personal. Vegeta stepped forward. He said, "I am going too. That is my son's future. No one messes with my son's world." Jiren stood up. He sensed the anger in the Saiyans. He nodded. He said, "I will assist." The Grand Priest opened the portal. But this time, the portal was stormy. The time destination was a world of chaos and despair. Gohan walked to the portal. He did not look back. He said, "I am coming for you. Whoever did this, I am going to erase you." He stepped into the storm. Stay tuned for the next episode. The Z fighters travel to the dark future to save the last hope. Gohan's rage is unleashed.